Bro, a lot of people think they have a skill issue, and they usually don't. They usually have a systems issue, and they probably also just have a fear and lack of action. So an inaction issue mixed with a fear action, lack of having a system. It's not the lack of skills whatsoever, not the lack of knowledge, skills, whatever it may be. They're just not taking action. Now, I agree, you definitely do need mentorship when experiencing or going all in on a new business or life venture, and you want to be efficient with it and speed up the process and essentially speed run your way to results. Then, yes, there are cheat codes for that. Cannot act like there are not. But I spent years in the wrong vehicle just thinking I needed to work harder. So that's really what I'm getting at here. Is it's not like most people, they literally think wow, if I'm stuck in this dead end job working my ass off, whether it's a sales job or a sales gig, a commission based thing, a regular job, a 9 to 5, a manual labor job, no matter what, they're pretty much all the same thing, bro. And those things are more labor intensive, based on work ethic. So your mind is already thinking okay, to be a business owner then and to have financial freedom, that must take an ungodly amount of work ethic. What are they possibly doing to have an online printer, a money printer online, virtually with no boss, with no clocking in? What are they doing to do that? It makes no sense, right? And that's because you've been taught to literally look at the entire world from a reversed perspective, entirely. So you have to first unlearn, or at least realize that the reality that is fabricated to literally be opposite of how life really works. So for example, I'm really big in scripture. I read it every day, and I watch a lot of, I see a lot of videos online sometimes, and even just through direct conversations, I can see that people's reaction to Christianity or to Jesus most of the time, they're thinking that's just a rule book, it was created to control you, and I wasn't born to submit to some belief system that was meant to dictate my life. And it's those people, I feel for them, but they've been taught that real Christianity or scripture, for example, they've been taught that it does exactly the opposite of what it's intended to do. So for example, that's not meant to put you in this box of not being able to think for yourself, or it controls you with these rules and this rule book type of thing. It's meant. Yo, I'm back. My phone died, so I hopped onto the camera real quick. But where was I saying? Yeah. So what I was saying is many people are taught that Christianity and this and that and this is some religious system to keep you under the control of someone else's thinking process, making you follow rules. That's exactly what Christianity is meant to help you avoid. It's literally meant to actually be yourself, not fall victim to false authorities and fucking, what's the word I'm trying to think of, corrupt systems that want to control you and think for you. The people that are saying oh, I wasn't meant to submit to a fairy tale. Those are the people that have submitted to a fairy tale already and are not thinking their own thoughts. They're thinking what the opposition wants them to think. People that literally oppose Christianity, thinking it's a cliche thing and this, it's not really their fault. It's the system is just doing a great job at teaching them what they want them to think about it. Christianity literally keeps you from being controlled. So you have to operate like Christ. You have to operate in the image of God so that you don't remain a docile slave animal. That's what it keeps you from doing it. That's why they killed Jesus, bro. That's the whole point, bro. He was a threat to the authorities because he was teaching people how to be themselves, and themselves meaning a extremely supernatural, powerful, precariously close to deity type being in the image of God. And that's exactly what the enemy does not want you to know, is basically how to be yourself. How to be yourself is how to be someone of absolute triumphant victory and glory in the name of the most powerful entity that's ever existed in existence in itself. And long story short, where I'm getting at with all of this is that is for me, that was the pinnacle of discernment and understanding that okay, in the Bible it says do not be subject to bitter labor. And it was telling me, like, I mean, look at it. Everyone knows that, like, biblically, entrepreneurship is, like, biblical. Like, people know that, like, you know, if you don't, like, you probably should just look into it, because that'll be a couple of the first steps to, like, making it a very easy decision on, like, what to do in your business life, your personal life, your whatever. Because, like, the Bible really tells you that, like, entrepreneurship is biblical, and it's in place for many reasons that make a lot of sense. It's because you're not supposed to be controlled. You're not supposed to be a slave to anyone else. You're not supposed to have, you know, humans controlling you by any means. You're not supposed to worship money. You're not supposed to let fear dictate your life. You're not supposed to let money dictate your life. You're not supposed to let the rules of others dictate anything you do. And in order to make sure of that, doing what Scripture tells you is like a step-by-step tutorial on how to, you know, accomplish what I'm saying right now. So, like, that's the reason that entrepreneurship is biblical, for those reasons, because you don't bow to man, you don't worship anything that man offers you. You be your own person, do what you're supposed to do, and do what you want to do, and do what you love, and be extremely successful in anything you do, and be very good at it. Do not conform to society, but everything you do, if you want to figure out, like, exactly what that may be, like I said, find what you love to do and what you would like to be very good at, and find a way to glorify God with it, right? Anything that you do, glorify God with it, because through his power and strength can you operate and allow God to bear witness to the strength of his creation in something that you have control over. Because if you have control over it, who else has control over it? God has control over it, and you have free will, though. Does that make sense? So check this out. A lot of people always ask. This is gonna answer so many questions biblically right now. People always ask, like, if God's real, like, why do all these bad things happen, and why is everything not perfect, and why do people have adversities and tribulations and all this shit, right? Because in the Bible we were given free will. Like, think about it, bro. If I was in a relationship with you or something, and I forced you to care for me and love me, is that real love, or is that just force? That is just by force. That's not a real relationship. That's not real love either. If I forced you to love and obey and glorify my name, that's not real love. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to experience the highest magnitude frequency of love, which is already the most powerful frequency, if I wanted to experience the highest level of gratitude and love, powerful frequencies, but at the most powerful level, they have to be authentic. I can't force you. It has to be a choice, right? So in the Bible, humans were given free will. Now, what you do with that free will can help dictate how much God has a hand over your life. Because if you give up that free will, see, this is the battle between good and evil. This is the war that's been going on for tens of thousands of years. It's right here. If you give up your free will to a malintention based entity, like an evil intention, if you give your will to that, that's selling your soul, right? That's what it means to sell your soul. If anyone's wondering, like, what that means, it means to go, like, it's not like a literal, like, you can't sell your soul, like, your soul is of God, right? It's not yours to sell necessarily, right? And it's not a physical tangible transaction either, but what it does mean is, like, you're giving up your morals, you're giving up, like, who you are, and going against your nature to basically, like, work for the devil, if that makes sense. Now, I know that sounds crazy, because, like, some people in 9-to-5s or regular jobs are going to be like, bro, I'm not doing anything evil. I'm like, yeah, I know, but like the will isn't in your hands, or else you wouldn't be doing, like, what you're doing. Now, maybe you love doing what you do, and that's great. You maybe have won at life, and congratulations if you have. I know many people that have regular jobs that make good money, have beautiful families, you know, wife and kids, cars, nice house, paid off, they're basically winning in life, right? But I'm just saying, like, if emotionally and spiritually you feel like you're trapped in a system that's just not you, it's not meant for you, and you'd rather be doing it some way else to where you have more freedom, more time with your family, more this, more that, and it's just like, it's out of your control to dictate the life that you want, you've given your free will to, like, another system, whether it's a malintended system meant to keep you stuck, or if it's just giving it away to other humans that are just not gonna have the best intentions for you like God does. No one will have the best intentions as God, right? So that's all I'm saying, is that, like, if you give your free will away, which is a God-given authority, a God-given right that's been given to us, is that free will. If you give it away, it's hard for you to, like, allow him to help you out in that situation. Now, like, he can help you out in many ways, but I'm just saying, like, entrepreneurship is biblical because he can directly like place his hand on that, and you can give it to him. Like it's yours to give, you know, like the business, the entrepreneurial, the habits, the whatever it is that you have control over, you can like surrender that to God and he can work magic with it, because it's like it was yours to give. It's your decision to give. It's your will to make aligned with his, because it does say that like many are the plans of man, nevertheless the Lord's counsel that stands. Basically what that means is like, you know, many plans of a man, right? But it's only God's plan that prevails and stands. So if you can just correlate your will with his, it, you know what I mean, he'll just boom. Don't worship money, just let him do it. Let him have the relationship with your business, and he'll make your business have a good relationship with money, while you need to just focus on having a good relationship with God and seeking out the answers and seeking out the growth, seeking out like how you can be the best version of like a best student possible. Find good relationships, find good mentors that understand these philosophies, and you're golden, right? So just do those things, because when I did those things, that led me to literally just have crazy doors open. Like my pastor was literally on a message of the day one day whenever it was hitting me. I was sitting getting epiphanies, like, what do I do? I'm stuck in the sales job. I feel like I'm just like in a rotating hamster wheel. How do I escape? I'm literally stuck here. I didn't know what to do. I had no other skill sets outside of like selling insurance, right? And then my pastor had a message that was saying that like, bro, sometimes like it's grown men trying to put on like, you know, the size of like a baby shirt, wondering why it's such a struggle. It doesn't fit you. They're over here trying to, you know, imagine like trying to fit into this box, and like you're asking to grow and have something bigger going on in your life. And you're like, of course that would hurt whenever you just grow. When you're stuck in something small, there's going to be like contraction, right? Like, of course you're going to struggle trying to put on something that doesn't fit you. Like trying to put on a onesie, a pair of baby clothes on a grown man is just going to like be uncomfortable, but not the good uncomfortable. It's literally going to go so against the grain that like it's going to make you look retarded. Like it's not going to work at all. It doesn't make any sense. You're going to struggle doing that. You need to have massive goals, but while like actually allowing what's holding this whole image to be bigger. Like you need to have like God to have control. Like you need to let him have control of the situation. If you try to like fit yourself into what you think needs to be your circumstance, and you need to grow this big image, like grow this big goal inside this tiny box, that's not gonna work. You have to, and then most people, the reason that they're doing this like I did, is they're so emotionally consumed by this tiny box. They worship this tiny box. They're afraid to give it up. I used to think like, whenever I heard in church, like if it's in God's will, it will happen. Like I used to think like that stuff was scary, and I'm like, nah, bro, like I worked hard for this. I don't want it to be in anyone's will but mine, right? But that's not what that means. Like you have to declare and decree things that you want to happen, but don't be afraid to like surrender anything you've ever loved, because like you might just be addicted to worshiping this small box that the vision that God has in place for you won't fit there. But he can't force you to prevail in this small box because you have no faith in leaving the box and knowing that he'll suffice and replace it with something better. That's the thing. It's just a lack of faith. Like I was, like when I was addicted to this insurance job, like I was like worshiping and glorifying it. I didn't want anything more than to be successful in this little box of, you know what I'm saying, of goons and absolute weasels, right? I was like, I wanted to be king of weasels, like, and it's just like, God's like, bro, like, God's like, dude, this is what you said you really wanted. You know what you really want. I know what you can really be, but it's not going to happen until you surrender that false worship, and you need to be focusing on me and worshiping and idolizing God himself. He's like, glorify my name, like worship me, like focus on me, and I will help you with these things. But if you're viewing this like little box as being bigger than God and putting all your time and letting it consume you, your emotional and spiritual and mental existence is taken by this thing, he cannot prevail such a big plan and purpose for you in that, because you don't believe that he will. And you also don't believe that he is more important than what you got going on in that little box. You need to surrender everything to him with faith that he can replicate and replace it by times 1,000, something bigger than you can even imagine. Like You have to believe it though. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? You can't have a lack of faith and expect him to help you. Not on that level in that way anyway. It's just not going to work. You can't just say like, oh, I worship this circumstance more than God. Like it's not, that circumstance is not more powerful than God. Trust me. So putting all of that together, my message here is that like, get your like mental and spiritual relationship right with God, and then the paths just like light up as you follow them. Like each step lights up. When it says like the Lord is a lamp at my feet, that's literally what will happen. Like you don't know what next step to take. You just need to take the best step first, and you just need to take a step. Like faith, jump, then every step will start to illuminate itself as you take it. But yeah, I hope that was a fire message. I'll drop my Instagram in the description. It's osiris.scales, and I'm accepting DMs, so you can shoot me a DM about anything we talked about or anything else, and I will respond to you personally. And if you're wondering like what I do or what that led me to be after I discovered that, got the discernment, the spirituality, the guidance here, like leaving the sales job that I was stuck in, for me, it was like, bro, I feel that there's like the least amount of risk in learning the skill that's behind making any online business work. And for me, that was, you know, not even just saying for me, like for everyone, that's acquisition and marketing. That makes every business run and operate. So learning brand scaling, learning like building a personal brand to make organic sales, or building ad campaigns with funnels and landing page, and really understanding like the correct systems that turn attention to revenue in any industry is exactly the path I took, because I just believed that like, bro, if I own the business behind all businesses, then like, what do we got to lose there? And sure enough, that's pretty much the case. You can use this with e-com. You can use this with any kind of coaching offer. You can use this with any type of service-based business or SaaS, where you're like serving like selling like a service or a software as a service, or a service as a fucking high ticket offer, whatever you want to call it. Coaches, agencies, consultants of any kind for anything, like even local businesses, like need this stuff. Like they need business somehow. How are you going to get, you know what I mean? Money comes from attention. It comes from people. Like you need to understand just how to convert attention to revenue in like a multifaceted way that can be duplicatable and replicatable to any industry. Like industries I've never heard of, I can do marketing for and get them making money with these systems, if that makes sense. So if you have more questions on that though, I want you to like let all that sink in, and if you do have more questions, just shoot me a DM. I'd be glad to like send you some guides, or like just talk you through a couple things, answer some questions, whatever it may be, just to like, you know, put it in your head of like how to get started and whatnot, and talk to you the next time.